Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. I hope that you didn't forget that I have this box because today we are going to continue with the unboxing. Today it's the turn of the Heavy Intercessors and that's why we are going to check the instructions, we are going to check the sprues and of course we are going to assemble them. Here we have 2 sprues that will allow us to build 5 Heavy Intercessors, but I do think that it's going to be nicer to check first instructions. As always, we start with the Sergeant, that of course we can assemble as a Sergeant or a regular Heavy Intercessor, because let's not forget that Heavy Intercessors can be in units of 5 or 10, so of course we need to have this option. At this point I would also like to mention that for every Heavy Intercessor the body is monopose of course, so the legs and the torso are joined together and we cannot move it. So all the customization options are going to be in the arms, head and also in all the details that we want to add to them. Here we have the first choices that we can do for the Sergeant, and I have to say that both of them are really cool. I really like these 2 poses for Sergeants, they look very nice. And it's funny because this is the specific body that we have like the most options in instructions, but I mean these are supposed to be like for the regular Heavy Intercessor, but it's nice that we have like 5 different options for the same body. And of course, even if for example these ones are for the regular Sergeant, it doesn't matter because for example back in the day I made a Heavy Intercessor Sergeant and I decided to use the arms recharging the ammunition, so it's going to look good anyway. Then we have the option to have one Heavy Intercessor with a Heavy Bolter, and yes, this is like a really cool looking miniature. I like this one a lot. This is where things start to get a little bit more sad in the instructions, because here they are just not giving us any options. For the first miniature we had 5 different options to choose from. For the second one, the Heavy Gunner, we had 2 options, and now it's just this. We just choose the head and the magazine, but aside from that they are giving us one specific pose. Same for the next one and same for the last one. So I already have Heavy Intercessors, as you were able to see, because basically I showed a Sergeant here. So I don't want to have the exact same miniatures because I already have this one, I already have this one, and that's why I'm going to try to make all of them unique and different from the instructions. So we're going to check if that's possible. Okay, now let's take a look at the sprues. Here we have 2 of them together because I got these ones in the Agassus Strike Force, but in the regular box it's 1 on 1, they are separated, so let's do that now. Let's start with this one, and here we can see how old these miniatures are. Not that old, I have to say, and they feel quite new to be honest, so yes, they feel good. Here we can see all the shoulder pads that we have for all the miniatures. Here we can see some details. We have the first arms for the Sergeant, here we have the one pointing. And then what else do we have here? Here we have another of the arms of the Sergeant. Here we have him carrying the weapon. Here we have the hand with the grenade that I would like to use, and not much, just decoration, bodies. Here we have heads. I have to say that it's quite nice because there's like a lot of heads here. Like for example, we have 2 options. This one that you can see that this one sticks directly into the miniature, so we have like a pre-established part that the head is looking at, and as you can see it's like cut at this part of the helmet, because I guess that this one is supposed to be looking into that direction, and that's why this is cut, so it will fit perfectly. But these ones, they are like totally full, there's not like sticks, so we have much more customization with these ones, and it's at least nice that we have several options for them. Second sprue here, and here we have basically lots of weapons. We have all of them because of course we have different arms to hold the weapons. We just choose the one that we are going to use for the miniatures. Then here we have several different magazines for the, depending on the magazine that we want for the weapon. Here we have other more. We have details like pistols, things to attach to the belts. Of course decorations, lots of decorations as always, and more arms for the miniature that is supposed to be the Sergeant. This is the one that it's like recharging. This is very cool because it has like a scope. I think that's very nice. And of course we have pistols. Here we have the Heavy Bolter that then we can decide which magazine. We can decide to add this one or this one here. So yes, it's going to be slightly different, even if the pose for the heavy bolter is going to be exactly the same. So well, I also would like to show the heads for the sergeant, that they are here. These are the only two heads that are unhelmeted, and we have them here. Quite disturbing, I will say, because they are like, they look like veterans of hundreds of battles, so it's nice. And with all of this being said, I think that it's time to start assemble the miniatures, so we're going to be able to see nicer all the bits there. I forgot to mention that during the assembling I would like to use some of these bits from the Black Templar upgrades, because especially I would like to use some of these shoulder pads. But of course, if I use any of them, I will let you know which ones, because these are not part of the Heavy Intercessors kit. This is how the squad is looking so far. So first of all, here we have the sergeant. As you can see, I added these parts of sprue to the base to make it look a little bit like a urban base, so it's going to look fun. And aside from the pose that I mentioned that I wanted, I added this shoulder pad from the Black Templars upgrades, these candles in the back, and also this specific purity seal. And here we have the heavy gunner, that even if it's not noticeable at first, I made a few changes. This shoulder pad came in the Space Marines Company Heroes. This bone here is from the Black Templars upgrades. Same with this shoulder pad. Actually, this is the one that was matching the sergeant, but as this shoulder pad was built in already, I had to use the other one for this miniature, but it's okay, it's going to be fun and they will look more unique like that. This small shield, I got it in the Blade Car Veterans, and it was there in my spare parts for so long. But anyway, these kind of shields, they are quite easy to get because they are basically part of lots of Space Marine kits. Not in this one, but lots of them. Here we have the rest of the squad, and basically what I'm going to do with them is that I assemble the bodies, and now I would like to try every single option in the kit. Here we have the full squad assembled, so of course it will be nice if we take a quick look at each one of them right now. So here we have the heavy gunner. And as you can see, I tried to add to them as much detail as possible, because like that I'm going to be able to try to make them look different or customized in some way. So yes, even if the pose is going to be the same for every heavy gunner, at least this one, it has something, Here we have this gentleman throwing a grenade, and I like the pose, I like how he came out, because I think that he looks very natural at least, so that's a good thing. I was not able to change this shoulder pad, but still I was able to add some purity seal or things, and it looks nice. At least with this shoulder pad we can clearly see that this is a Black Templar, so not bad. Here we have the sergeant of the squad that I showed previously, and we talked about him already. So I added this base using the spruce for adding some urban texture. So I like how it looks, and I'm going to do this with the rest of the squad. But I wanted to show it on him. Of course, we're going to paint the rest, and then we are going to be able to see it much more nicely. Then we have this poor gentleman that some glue fell on him here, so of course the chest is a little bit damaged. And this shoulder pad, I removed the paint, and it was also a little bit more damaged. I hope that once the miniature is painted, it's not going to be visible. But anyway, I like how he looks. And finally, we have the one that is shooting. I tried not to use this pose, but after trying every possible pair of arms, I decided to go for this pose because I like it, and at least I wanted to have one of them shooting. So yes, I don't regret it. Here we have them. It's the same miniature, it's almost the same pose. I tried to repose the head in a slightly different way. I tried to use different pistols for the side. This one has a different shoulder pad, and I tried to add different details, so hopefully they should look different. But once I finish painting both of them, because this one is not finished, I started but I never finished, then I hope that they will look a little bit different. This is the one that annoys me the most, because if you look at the weapons, they are different ones. I mean, these are different pairs of arms, and the weapon is different, but still the pose is almost the same. So that's why at least this one has this small shield. So hopefully they should look slightly different. But yes, I'm a little bit annoyed that I use different arms and the pose is almost exactly the same. With these two, I'm very happy because they look very different, and that's very good, very nice. And especially I like that because of the choice of this specific arm, I was able to add everything that I wanted to this side of the miniature. So there's things going on here. And here we have the two different sergeants that here they look very different. So I'm very happy about that, because it's they even have different shoulder pads, different weapons, different things around them. So yes, they are going to be very different, and that makes me very happy. Now that the whole squad is fully assembled, I can say that I mentioned a lot of times that I'm happy because when I paint my miniatures, every time they look better. But I have to say that it's the same with assembling the miniatures. I can see that these latest miniatures that I assembled look much better than the previous ones that I assembled a long time ago. So yes, my new Heavy Intercessors, they look nicer than the previous ones. And I'm very happy about that, and I cannot wait to paint all of them and show with all of you the process. So as usual, and as I always say, if you like what I do and you would like to support my work, I invite you to check the link to my Patreon in the description. And with all of that being said, this is it. This is the end of the video. So of course soon I'm going to be painting these miniatures, and I hope that I will be able to finish this box before the end of the year. So we are almost there, we are on the way. And that's it. So as usual, if you are still here, please consider giving me a like and subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.